This is ReplicantPhish. Welcome back. Glad you could join me again. So in the comment section of yesterday's video, a few of you that work in trucking or some sort of food services were ensuring many people that they are still doing their jobs to make sure that we get our food and toilet paper, because we need so much. So thank you very much to the truckers and those who work in services who make sure we get food, basically. And also a thank you to those who work in the medical profession. From the hospital waste disposal guy to the top doctor. Thank you all. You are going through a lot right now and honestly I commend you for your hard work. And in other brief lockdown news, that damned game Animal Crossing has sold almost 4 million units in about 4 days, which is just crazy. Obviously being locked down and playing Animal Crossing for some people would be good. One thing to note, life simulation games like The Sims for one, and Animal Crossing, some of their biggest audience, their main buyers, are female, girls and women, obviously because it's a life sim. Interesting, random but interesting, yeah. But enough waffling, let's begin. Extra aversion and substance use are associated with forming romantic relationships in college students. Now that is both interesting and it's nothing new, really. College students drinking and taking drugs and just getting high and drunk and doing each other. It's nothing new. It's pretty much commonplace in colleges. Is it because college girls are just so easy? Yeah, a lot of them are. Not really that difficult, some of them. But let's carry on. A new study has uncovered several factors that predict the transition from being single to being in a relationship in college students. The findings appear in the journal Evolutionary Psychological Science. Given the increasing percentage of single and childless individuals in many Western and Asian societies, there is a need for more knowledge about factors that are involved in determining who stays, perhaps involuntarily, single, said study author Eileen Christine Erevik, an associate professor at the Department of Psychosocial Science at the University of Bergen, Norway. The researchers surveyed more than 11,000 college students in Bergen regarding their personality traits, substance use, relationship status, and other factors. About 5,000 of these students completed a follow-up survey 1 year later. For their current study, 2,404 participants who reported being single in the first survey and who also completed the second. The main findings were that having children, being extroverted, being high in neuroticism, drinking relatively more alcohol, as well as using illegal drugs, increased the likelihood of entering romantic relationships among female students. While higher age, being extroverted, and having higher scores on the personality trait openness predicted romantic relationship formations for male students, Erevik told SciPost. So in other words, according to this study, many women who were alcohol and substance abusers seem to end up in more relationships than the women that didn't. And I'm sure not just relationships, many random casual flings as well, due to the alcohol, the socializing, but obviously it's young people, what do you expect? But for men, it was more a sense of how the man actually was. Is he an extrovert? Is he confident? Outgoing? Have some sort of swagger or just exciting personality, if you will? Those men seem to be more successful than the ones that were less so in terms of dating and relationships in college, which is interesting, and it shows you two sides of the dating spectrum, the side of men and the side of women. Carrying on, it is important to stress that we don't know why these individual characteristics were associated with romantic relationship formation, and several mechanisms could be at play. For instance, the association between neuroticism, and the meaning of neuroticism is, neuroticism is one of the big 5 higher order personality traits in the study of psychology. Individuals who score high on neuroticism are more likely than average to be moody and to experience such feelings as anxiety, worry, fear, anger, frustration, envy, jealousy, guilt, depressed mood, and loneliness. And carrying on, the association between neuroticism and romantic relationship formation for women might be related to neuroticism being perceived as an attractive trait in women, or that neurotic single women may have a stronger need for support and thus search more intensely for a partner. And that's many points I've been making in the past week. The want and need for a man. Because though women like to deny it, many of us as men know how we have improved a woman's life simply by being with a woman. Sometimes without even doing much. It's just a sense of being with her, letting her know that someone actually cares for her enough to be with her, sort of thing, yeah. But in a sense, it shows you how the more emotionally needy woman is more desperate for love, or a man basically, or just attention. Carrying on. Based on the findings that extroversion and alcohol use were associated with an increased likelihood of romantic relationship formation, one take-home message for those seeking a partner might be that participating in social events may help your chances, as both extroverts and those with higher alcohol use are likely to partake in social events more frequently compared to introverts and alcohol abstainers. So in other words, what they're saying is something we all know. If you're a more outgoing person, you're more out there, you like to go out and get drunk and drink with a few random people, then hey, your chances of finding someone are more increased. Obviously higher than if you sit in your home doing nothing, obviously. And I will leave the article there. And the article was from scipost.org. Now of course, we all know being in social gatherings around many people, especially those of the opposite sex, with all the drinking, drug taking, and reduced inhibitions, of course, many people would get together. For instance, many men that have been clubbing or been to bars and try to talk to women, many of them know that, well, if I have a drink or two in me, it then lowers my inhibitions, you become less bothered, you become more confident, more flirtatious. You know, for some men, a drink or two, they become more outgoing, more extroverted with a drink or two. So obviously, for many men, it then becomes easier to approach a woman once you've had a few drinks in you, because at that point, you don't care, or you're just so charged up, you're just going for it anyway. If you get turned down, you get turned down. Who cares? You're drinking anyway. Move on to the next one. So obviously, in these situations, many men can possibly feel more confident simply because of the alcohol. Without something to drink, many men may not feel confident enough to even approach certain women. Because they're not drunk or tipsy, they're too aware of what's going on. So it's obviously more difficult. In terms of women, women love to party. Women love to let their hair down. Also, women love to cover up their pain. As I said in my previous video yesterday, women love to use many things to cover up their pain. And as I've said before, obviously those things could be alcohol, drugs, or sex, or a combination of all three, plus attention and money and whatnot as well. But through drugs, sex, and alcohol, many women can escape momentarily from how they're feeling about this or that or themselves or life or whatever. They can self-medicate using one of these three or many things. So in a sense, obviously, you would find many women who have gotten into relationships through being, you know, in a social situation where they were drinking or taking drugs or just being freaky basically. Obviously, this then makes sense. And to understand, women love to party, but also some women party to hide and forget as well. To forget pain and hurt and bad feelings and whatever. So of course, many women would seek these ways of feeling relaxed, more content, or more freed or whatever. The point is, as a man, to be aware of things like this. To understand how you could get in trouble in trying to get with a woman who's partially drunk or high on something already. Though she may be consensual then, once she sobers up, it's a different story, as many men have learnt. Thus, as a man, be careful. Know and understand these things. Understand and see these certain psychological traits. Be aware of them, so as a man, you do not and you cannot fall into them, as in their trap. As a man, enjoy yourself. Enjoy life. Just be aware of those you choose to enjoy life with. Because on the outside, some women seem very outgoing and very bubbly. Well, the truth is, what is she like when no one is around, behind those closed doors, when it's just her? For some men, be happy you never find out the real her. In other words, focus, observe, remember. The world is yours. Have a nice day.